Good morning. Thank you for being with us on THV 11, streaming on THV 11 Plus. I'm Karen Fuller. Hayden is off this week, and meteorologist Nathan Scott is also in for Tracy this week, and he has a first check of your forecast on this Monday morning. Hey, Nathan.
Hey, good morning, Karen. It certainly was a summer preview out there this weekend. In fact, we had the earliest 90-degree day on record at Little Rock. That breaks the old record from March 24th. Back in 1929. But changes have arrived in the form of a cold front. Look at your 24-hour temperature difference. It's 23 degrees cooler in Harrison. Yesterday, their high was 96 degrees. Different story out there for this afternoon. 46 is the number in Harrison. It's 59 in Little Rock, 63, though, in Arkadelphia. So it's a warm start to the day, but the winds have switched over to the northeast, about 15 to 25 miles per hour. And here's your hour by hour with that cooler, more seasonable air pouring its way in through the course of the day. Temperatures will top out into the mid to upper 60s for the most part. Here are temperatures across the state. 68 in the metro, 69 in Russellville, but 76 in Texarkana and 60 in Jonesboro. We'll see a mixture of sun and clouds tonight. Expect increasing clouds. Small chance it could be a few showers that sneak their way in late tonight and for the start of your Tuesday, but you can give the AC a break as temperatures drop down into the mid to upper 40s. More warm air, more record highs in jeopardy as we go into the middle parts of the week. I'll have more on that forecast coming up.
All right, Nathan, thank you. This morning, air travelers are still dealing with long security lines at airports nationwide as the partial government shutdown drags on in Washington. TSA officers working now without pay. And today, the Trump administration is sending some ICE agents to help airports with the screening of passengers. Bradley Blackburn has the latest.
This time-lapse video shows security lines snaking through the terminal at Baltimore's airport as travelers face increased challenges around the nation.
This is crazy.
In New Orleans, the lines went out the door deep into the parking garage.
Water.
And in Atlanta, water bottles were handed out to passengers like Julie Curtis, who missed her flight after waiting in line for 4 hours.
We've just been standing and seeing our feet are killing us, and my husband has a heart condition on top of that.
Tens of thousands of TSA officers are working without pay while the stalemate continues in Washington over funding the Department of Homeland Security, which includes TSA, the U.S. Coast Guard, and FEMA.
They're trying to play political games while Americans are frustrated.
This is a Republican shutdown. They're in control of what we vote for and don't vote for.
The Trump administration says starting today, ICE agents will be stationed at hotspot airports to assist TSA screeners.
If they come here where it's going to make a lot of people scared to travel.
ICE will keep us safe, and I don't have a problem with ICE agents.
The union representing TSA agents slammed the idea, saying, quote, TSA officers deserve to be paid, not replaced by untrained armed agents who have shown how dangerous they can be. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
As of right now, authorities have not yet said exactly where ICE agents will be deployed. Meantime, United Airlines says it's cutting some flights as fuel prices surge because of the war with Iran. In a memo Friday, the CEO said the reductions will focus on less popular trips, such as midweek or overnight flights. The airline also notes that jet fuel prices have more than doubled since late February, a spike that could add about $11 billion to costs this year. And Iran's military warns it will retaliate if President Trump follows through on his threat to strike power plants if the Strait of Hormuz is not reopened. The president set that deadline for later tonight as NATO says nearly 24 nations are moving to secure the vital shipping route. Again, Bradley Blackburn with the very latest.
The clock is ticking on President Trump's threat to, quote, obliterate Iran's power plants if the country doesn't fully open the Strait of Hormuz by tonight. On social media, Iran's foreign minister responded the key shipping route is not closed, suggesting that ships hesitate because of what he calls a war of choice initiated by the U.S. It comes as NATO's Secretary General said 22 nations are planning efforts to protect the strait.
Military planners are now working together to make sure that we are ready, to make sure that that Strait of Hormuz, that we secure the free sailing there, which is crucial for the world economy.
Israel and Iran continued to launch strikes toward each other overnight. While touring the destruction of one neighborhood Sunday, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu warned that Iran has missiles capable of striking Europe.
It's time to see the leaders of the rest of the countries join up.
Officials tell CBS News the U.S. has hit 7,800 targets since the war began more than 3 weeks ago, though a new CBS News poll finds 60% of Americans disapprove of the U.S. taking military action against Iran, while 40% approve. Those views are heavily split along party lines. The poll shows a narrow gap between those who believe the U.S. will not need to send ground troops compared to those who do.
The president will keep all options on the table.
Sources tell CBS thousands of U.S. service members are being moved to the Middle East to be at the ready. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Now, here at home, continuing coverage, a former assistant chief in Garland County says the Fountain Lake Volunteer Fire Department is now down to just 4 firefighters. Harry Baker says he's been fired again, the second time in recent months, after ongoing clashes between the board and department leaders. He claims the latest decision follows an emergency meeting that he says wasn't properly called and involved discussion of another firefighter's personnel record. The dispute has been unfolding since February. County officials say mutual aid agreements are in place to cover Fountain Lake during the staffing shortage. Local experts are raising concerns as more people turn to artificial intelligence for comfort and mental health support. They warn AI can respond instantly, but may reinforce unhealthy thinking instead of challenging it, like a therapist might. In some extreme cases, heavy reliance on AI for emotional support has been linked to tragic outcomes. Specialists also caution users to be careful about what personal information they share. They stress AI can be a helpful tool, but it cannot replace real human connection. And now let's go back to meteorologist Nathan Scott and the forecast to help you plan your Monday.
Karen, it's going to be about 20 to 30 degrees cooler for this afternoon compared to what we saw this time yesterday when the temperature soared into the upper 80s and low 90s. 68 will be the number here in Little Rock. Also breezy. Those winds kicking in from the northeast, about 15 to 25 miles per hour. Mixture of sun and clouds. More clouds on Tuesday, especially in the morning. More sunshine for the afternoon. Very small chance there could be a few sprinkles or a few showers late tonight into the start of your Tuesday. But look at that. We're back up to 83 degrees on Wednesday. Record highs, I think, will be challenged once again by Thursday. More on that complete 7-day forecast coming up. And the time now is 7 minutes after 6 o'clock. This is a live look. I drive Arkansas Interstate 630, where the traffic is building in volume, but still looking pretty good out there. No accidents to report anywhere across the Little Rock Metro. We'll keep you updated.